What up, everyone? Big Kev back in the building. This video is called What If Everyone Jumped at Once? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's check it out. Alright, so the question is, what would happen if everyone on Earth stood as close to each other as they could, jumped, and landed on the ground all at the same instant? Yeah, no idea. Curious to hear what the answer would actually be. Would it do anything at all, or would it have some kind of big effect that I was unaware of? Let's check it out.
The question comes from Thomas and many other people, who all asked, what would happen if everyone on Earth stood as close to each other as they could, jumped, and landed on the ground at the same instant?
No
This
idea.
is one of the most popular questions submitted to What If. It's been
Really?
examined before, including by a Science Blogs post and a Straight Dope article.
That is never a question that entered my head at any point in my life. But I'm curious to know the answer now that it's been posed.
They cover the physics pretty well. However, they don't tell the whole story.
Oh, the real story.
At the start of the scenario, the entirety of Earth's population has been magically transported together into one place. This crowd
Okay.
takes up an area the size of Rhode Island. In fact, let's assume we, are
That's
actually
all?
in Rhode Island. At the stroke of noon, everyone jumps.
That's a lot of space. I
As
guess.
discussed elsewhere, this jump doesn't really affect the planet. Earth outweighs us by a factor of over 10 trillion. On average, we
Makes
humans
sense.
can vertically jump maybe half a meter, and that's when we're not shoulder to shoulder in the middle of a crowd. Even if everyone did jump that high, and the ground were rigid and responded instantly, the Earth would still only be pushed down by less than an atom's width. Next, everyone
That's all less than an atom's width? Wow. I thought it'd make a little more impact than that. I didn't think necessarily that it would make much of an impact, but that is basically absolutely no impact, it seems like, right? Less than an atom?
falls back to the ground. Technically, this delivers a lot of energy into the Earth, but it's spread out over a large enough area that it doesn't do much more than leave footprints in a lot of gardens. A slight pulse
Yeah.
of pressure spreads through the North American continental crust and dissipates with little effect beyond moving the needle of a few local seismometers. The sound of
Okay.
12 billion feet hitting the ground does create a loud, drawn-out roar which
Oh,
lasts
that's
many
interesting.
seconds.
Yeah, I didn't think about what the actual noise would be. Yeah, I guess that would be like the worst part than the actual, effect it would have on the Earth itself.
Eventually, the air grows quiet. Seconds pass. Everyone looks around. There are a lot of uncomfortable glances. Someone coughs. A cell phone comes out of a pocket. Within
Did this for
seconds,
nothing?
the rest of the world's 7 billion phones follow. All of them, even those compatible with the region's towers, are displaying some version of no signal. The cell networks have all collapsed under the unprecedented load. Outside Rhode Island, abandoned machinery begins grinding to a halt. Airplanes drift through the skies on autopilot trajectories. Food starts burning on abandoned kitchen stoves. Soccer balls complete their trajectories and now
I like how this scenario is taking it that they didn't plan to come to this place. They were just transported there in the middle of what they were doing. Otherwise, most of these things would not matter because no one would be flying planes. People would have turned off their stoves and turned off their electrical appliances.
vacant goals, and empty playground swings gradually drift to a halt. Back in Rhode Island, people, many people, begin to wonder, how do we get everyone home? The TF
Yeah, right.
Green Airport in Warwick, Rhode Island handles a few thousand passengers a day. I just flew
That would
out
be the
there.
real
They have the
difficult part.
nicest
That would take
bathrooms
forever.
Any airport I've ever seen. Very impressive. This is not part of the recording. Assuming they got things organized, including sending out scouting missions to retrieve fuel, they could run at 500% capacity for 100 years without making a dent in the crowd.
Yeah, that's the real number. Wow, 500 years for that airport and not even make a dent in the crowd of people. That's pretty insane. The logistics of that is the true nightmare scenario.
The addition of all the nearby airports doesn't change the equation much, nor does the region's
Huh.
light rail system. Crowds climb on board container ships in the deepwater port of Providence, but stocking sufficient food and water for a long sea voyage proves a challenge. Rhode Island's
Yeah.
million cars are commandeered. Moments later, I-95, I-195, and I-295 become the sites of the largest traffic jams in the history of the planet. Most of the cars are blocked by the crowds, but a lucky few get out and begin wandering the abandoned road network. Some make it past New York or Boston before running
Huh.
out of fuel. Since the electricity is probably not on at this point, rather than finding a working gas pump, it's easier to just abandon the car and get in a new one. After all, who can stop you? All the cops are in Rhode Island. The edge of the
True.
crowd spreads outward into southern Massachusetts and Connecticut. Any two people who meet are unlikely to have a language in common, and almost nobody knows the area. Even if people cooperate, everyone is hungry and thirsty. Grocery stores are immediately emptied and woefully insufficient.
This basically turns into a end of the world disaster scenario, but not for the reasons that you think. It's all just logistical reasons.
Fresh water is hard to come by, and there's no efficient system for distributing it. Sanitation is a disaster, and healthcare infrastructure non existent. Within
Yeah.
weeks, Rhode Island is a graveyard of billions, including most of the people who submitted this question, probably you and me too. The survivors spread out over the face of the world and struggle to build a new civilization atop the ruins of the old. Our species staggers on, but our population has been greatly reduced. And, most importantly, the Earth's rotation and orbit are completely unaffected. It spins
Yeah.
along exactly as it did before our species-wide jump.
The Earth never cared, you know? We did it to ourselves.
Note to future civilizations.
Thou shalt not
Let's
jump
not
in
try
Rhode
that
Island.
again.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a fun scenario. I didn't think of all the logistical issues that would arise from having everyone in the world in the same place all at once, not spread out, obviously, standing shoulder to shoulder. That would definitely kind of destroy civilization, you know, if they couldn't all get anywhere after it was all done. I mean, you'd think if they were gonna do it, you have it a little better planned out so those wouldn't be issues. But if you just instantly transported everyone there all at once, I can see why it would turn into an absolute nightmare and lead to chaos afterwards. So, yeah, that was a fun little what if. I definitely enjoyed that one. Let me know what you thought of that one in the comments down below. Until next time, have a good one.